What's up, friends? That's right. It's me, Indy, once again, in my Hawaiian shirt in Florida. That's right. It matches the indie game business colors pretty close. Yes, we've got Vicky Way with us. First, I want to say thank you so much again. Tripwire Presents for sponsoring us. It's amazing, and thank you so much. So Vicky Way, she's going to talk about you know what? I'll just step back and you just say who you are and talk about whatever you want to talk about. And
cool. Awesome. All right. Thanks, Dan. And thanks, Jay and Heather. And thanks, everyone, for listening. Hey, everybody. And I'm Vicky. I am the director at Redstart Interactive, and I am here to talk about simultaneous launches as an indie studio, particularly the steps leading up to launch, and a little bit on a budget. So I guess we'll start. A little about me, Vicky. That's me. And let's see. And so at Redstart Interactive, we are the creators of Get a Grip Chip and Get a Grip Chip and the Body Bugs. So I guess I'm just going to take some of our experiences from that and just talk through like a lot of the art and tech and the video aspects of leading up to launch. I know there's tons of information and resources about like making a game, and so this talk is actually more about launching your game rather than creating it either on one or multiple platforms. So like this is like primarily the work leading up to launch day, and this like how much time it takes, a little bit about like the different products that you can do, like soundtrack or merch if you're gonna do DLC. Let's see. I guess maybe just a couple notes. One, we're actually not going to talk about marketing in this talk. There's tons of great resources out there that talk about marketing plan, marketing strategy. Indie game business does a great job of talking through this as well. I think Chris Zukowski had a talk yesterday on how to market your game, so I'd definitely go check that out about like marketing going up to launch. So like I said, we're gonna talk about more about the art, the tech, like for launching on like Nintendo Switch, Xbox, iOS, some of the nuances of that, and then just the video aspects of it as well. And then we'll do a brief overview of just like what that timeline looks like. So I guess another note, this is basically like the minimum that we've felt we needed for the launches. And it's got a couple shortcuts that we take because we're a really small studio. And this is just like what helps us. And maybe this is like another option for you that you may be able to take. This also isn't a recommendation of self-publishing. I will add that the two games are self-published. It's also like a great option to partner with a publisher or something in between. I think there was actually also a really great talk yesterday about government contracts and doing that type of partnership as well. And yeah, so thanks everybody. Let's get started, and feel free to comment in the chat, and I'll try to answer questions along the way. Alrighty. So we'll start with art because that's fun and it's pretty. All right. So for like launch art, after like you've created your art for the game, and now you're launching, and you find out on Steam you need 15 assets cut different ways to set up your store. So I think one thing to note is that that it is both about quantity and quality for your launching art. So I think wrong slide. So what we're looking at here is it's called our key art, and basically what we've done here is we've created one key art, and then we'll take that key art and cut it different ways. So in this case, this is a 1080 by 1920, and then sorry about that, we'll cut that down to, you know, smaller sizes in landscape and portrait mode. So we created one key art. This is where like planning's really important, and shout out to our artist Aaron for making very, very flexible to work with key art. So planning ahead, we get a ton of mileage out of this one piece of key art. And so what we can do is we can actually just upload different variations of this art as well. And so this is the key art for Body Bugs, our second game. And let's see. Okay, actually I'm gonna skip slides a little bit so I can just show you. So this is so this is a variation on our key art, and what you can see here is we've added this to the game icons, and we're using that key art. So it's, you know, there's the Xbox, the one on the right is the Xbox art, and then top is the Steam art, and then down below is Nintendo. And so we've cut it different ways, and just like rearrange the assets to get like something that fits for that platform. Okay, so going back. So I guess like a few things to know about key art design is, so it's real. The key art is really, really important. It's about the planning. It ends up driving like the rest of like the assets that you'll create, and it will make your life so much easier. And it gets used like almost everywhere. So like on your platform stores, on your website, your press kit, and it's actually a great way to just post the different variations on social media. Typically, the key art is actually likely what the first customer sees. Should definitely stand out. It's shown next to lots of other games, and more or less like it'll show the type of experience your game will provide. So for us, like we typically have a lot of action, so we try to show action in our key art. It depends on your game, like how you want to show that. I think another facet of this, it should be very recognizable, in that it clearly shows the logo, and you want your fans and future fans to like easily spot that or quickly. Let's see. So some behind the scenes things is basically the way we do our key art to like make our lives easier down the line. And the key art is built in layers. So like these little guys, the white blood cells, so that's like one asset, and then this baddie and some of the slime and these anchors up top are also just like separate assets that we can just move around as the formats, the sizes, and the aspect ratio changes. So actually going back here again, you can, if you look at the three variations, so like what takes quite a bit of time in working with the art assets is just we'll reframe the different pieces in it as the size changes. So like we move the logo around depending on what platform it is, because we really want it to stand out, but we really wanted Chip to show up as much as possible, and we wanted as many of the characters to show up in the art. So we had to make some adjustments, but it's pretty quick once you get into the swing of it, and if like your key art is set up well. Okay, so we'll just talk a little bit about logos. Let's see. So these show the title of the game. that, and it doesn't show anything else. I think the platforms like require you only show the title of the game. You can add the little trademark if you go that route in getting your like game trademarked. We actually did that for Get a Grip Chip, but as you can see here, we still haven't added it to the logos yet because it's like it takes quite a bit of time and we just haven't gotten around to it. And I guess if people are wondering how long it takes, for us, it took about 8 months start to end, and that was we didn't get rejected the first time, so that really was the full amount of time. Let's see. Okay, some other things to note, like, so obviously you can see here you should use a transparent background, and this actually, so this helps a lot of like virtual event organizers like indie game business if they're gonna like showcase your game on their website, or like any event organizers with the website, like even let's say PAX, or in New York City it's Playcrafting. So if they're doing that, like you want a transparent logo, it's gonna make the organizer's job a lot easier, and so they don't have to come back to you. Another helpful thing is to have a version for a dark background and a version for a light background. So typically we'll just send the package of logos when we're helping out with events, and basically we let the organizers choose the logo that will best fit, but we at least try to label it. We'll also actually, with our company logos, we actually have different sizes of logos as well, so that like also organizers, that if they do put our company logo up and ask for it, they can just choose the one that best fits their website. Usually they have like loads of games they're showcasing, so if it helps like make their life a little bit easier, then like I think they'll appreciate it. And I guess like one other thing with logos is just like, should have a good silhouette as well. So what you can see here, going clockwise from the upper left, is, so we started with Get a Grip Chip, and so that it had a good silhouette with that type of font. And I think we actually like modified a custom font to create this logo, which is really cool. And then then we started adding color to it, and then the lower right with the blue is actually like the primary logo in the game, but for a dark background version, you can see the one on the bottom left. And let's see. Oh, and the one with Chip going through the middle. Like, it's okay to have some fun with this stuff too. So we also made one with like a play on the logo where it's like the grappling hook, and it's really fun. I think it turned into stickers actually, and that was pretty great. Okay, let's see. All right, so we're back here, back on the game icon. So I think like I specifically highlight the game icon because it's basically showed on the launch screen of each platform that you plan to be on, and also in the storefronts as well. And obviously you're for like I think Steam is the most known, like all the different capsules that you could make as well. But the game icon is also very similar. So we're highlighting it here as it's the most visible. Let's see. So your game icon it's a version of your key art, but like it doesn't have to be. And so this is like one of the shortcuts I was talking about, and we use the game icon as our key art just because we're a small team. We're like 3 to like 8 to 10 people at any given point, and so we'll just use the key art because it's already there and it's well made, and we can just like cut it down pretty quickly. Okay, so one other reason why we use the key art is with the Nintendo. They kind of one of their requirements is actually like a certain amount of like busyness in the art. So like we were kind of already there with the key art, so we've rolled with it. Let's see. Like I said earlier, so top left is the game icon for Steam, and then going clockwise, that's the game icon for Xbox, and then finally the game icon for Nintendo. Yeah, and as you can see, like we've moved the positioning around of basically everything to just like fit the sizing and the aspect ratio that was required from each platform. I think you'll notice like so the square one with Nintendo, because it's like just I think it was because of the squareness and just the way it was like it worked out. We took out the green slime because it was getting like way too busy to have the green slime in there, and it was like distracting from the main character chip that we were trying to showcase in the game icon. Let's see. So okay, so more about game icons. Oh, okay. So usually the platforms will have specific requirements, no text covering specific areas of the icon, except the logo. Usually it's got to be exported to multiple formats. We've mostly seen PNG, bitmap. You'll spend a lot of time exporting files when creating the marketing art. And it's got to be actually submitted as separate layers. And you also need to also have space to account for like overlays, just for like sales and like the system status and things like that. And let's see. Okay, so more fun like launch requirements with the art. It's actually like really fun to do this stuff because it's like less restricted to the nuances of the game, and like as you can see here, we'll like play with different art styles to just like have tons of fun with some of the art. So let's see, achievements. Alrighty, so okay, so each platform is going to typically has like multiple size and format requirements for the achievement art. So on the left here is Steam and Nintendo. And then on the right with like Chip zooming about is actually that one's Xbox. So okay, so for achievement art, what we've learned is actually like just start with 1920 by 1080. We created square icons first, and so then when we launched Xbox like earlier this year, we found out we needed a 16 by 9 version. But so we took a little shortcut here is like we just took the center framed assets and just like actually just pulled that out. It just made the border and the canvas wider just because we didn't have the time or resources to actually like redraw all these icons. Let's see. Oh, also, so unlocked and locked versions of the achievement icons. So you also need that to like, you should do it to just like help the player understand what achievements are still locked and what achievements are unlocked. So the top is the locked achievement icon, and the bottom of these square ones are the unlocked achievement icons. And I think we created the unlocked ones first with the color. So when we realized like towards launch, we also needed locked achievement icons. We just put a desaturate filter on the unlocked one to show this as well. And to be honest, I think we're doing some UI work on there as well, like checkboxes to like further emphasize that it's locked and unlocked. Alrighty, so storefront assets. Like I mentioned earlier, these are like the capsules on Steam, but and and there's also there's the miscellaneous ones. It's like sorry, I forgot what platform does this, but there is one that requires a standalone image of the hero. So in our case, this is Chip, and if you look around, you actually don't see the hero image anywhere, and it's actually like almost in a 3D view. So it's not technically the view you would see in the game at all, but we just had some fun with it and put something together, and it got some extra mileage out of it because we turned that into stickers, and people have been like really digging those stickers. Oh yeah, and the hook as well. I think we were using the hook as a desktop icon, but then I think it didn't get used. But like we've found other uses for it, and I know like, so I think like just being efficient here is like one of those like things that's important as well. If you're like definitely a smaller studio and noticing how much stuff there is to do just for launching the game besides making the game. I'm sure this hook is going to end up as like an Easter egg in a future game. Okay, so we're going to talk about tech, and I'm going to be honest. I had some help writing this one, but this presentation is going to be made available as just like a resource, and I think I can just post it in the Discord, and so people can just download this and reference this. So it's quite detailed, and also the notes are going to be in the presentation, so you can just download the presentation as like a resource in helping you with your launches. So here we go into tech. Okay, cool. Oh, and actually, while we're still on the topic of art, this poster, we made this poster for fun, and this actually ended up in the game as well. This is a schematic of Chip, but it was so cool. We just put it into the start screen of the game, and I think we did this like well after launch, and then it was super cool. So we added more mileage again and just made a poster from it and a T-shirt as well. The T-shirts are really cool. All right, so let's see, tech. So this is actually like the bulk of what goes into the work that goes into like launching on multiple platforms, because like each platform has like specific requirements to their device or platform, and there's tons of them. So, and there's going to be like many problems to solve, because like you've got to like put in a lot of the hooks to like, let's say, the Switch or the Xbox or the PlayStation, or and then you also have to adjust for mobile if you're going to go the mobile route, just for iOS and Android. So for example, like body bugs, we put that on mobile, and actually one of the biggest adjustments, this isn't even technically, but was that we had to adapt the controls for mobile, and so the dead zones are actually different on mobile than they are on controller, because it's just like you can't feel the edge of the joysticks as well on touch as you can on a controller. Let's see. So I think one thing to know is basically with each platform is like the more features of the platform you use, the more requirements you'll have to account for. So for us, like a lot of the features we're using are the achievements and the leaderboards, and I think that's basically it. So like for just like a really small game with basically one mechanic, like it took quite a bit of time to just hook into the achievements and the leaderboards. So with each of these platforms, on the tech side, so lots of problem solving. So your resources are like their platform technical support. There's tons of documentation, and also if there's a forum, check out the forums. Let's see. Okay, so I'll talk a little bit about achievements and leaderboards. I think we basically I think scraped the surface of the different parts, the different features of the Switch, Xbox, iOS, and and Steam platforms. So I guess I'll talk a bit about our achievements. We just configure all of them through the different platform portals, and we have to do it each time. Like every time we every time we started a new platform. So I think we designed 40 achievements, which meant we had to input 40 different achievements on each platform. Let's see. So they're highly encouraged on Steam. Achievements are actually required on Xbox, and I think it was at least 10. So so we had 40 achievements. We actually cut it down to 10 for the Xbox, and then we still had to build in the support for all of our achievements. And then the Nintendo Switch doesn't have a built-in achievement system, so we actually built our own. It's very cool. Go team for doing that. And I think one other thing is that I think some of the achievements, once they're released, you can't change them on some of the platforms. I believe that's Xbox. Also, the Xbox community loves achievements, and the outreach for that has actually been really awesome, and was really encouraging to see all the Xbox players interacting with our games over the achievements. Also, speaking of interactive, actually, sorry. So fun story time. We over the original, I think there were 42 achievements originally, and when we launched on Steam, and then we had to cut 2 of the achievements later on when we started launching on all the platforms. I think they were skip the intro video, and this one was really brutal, but you had to beat the boss levels without dying on your first attempt of that boss. So basically what happened, it was incredibly difficult to do the second one. So we could do both of these on Steam because it tied our achievements to the user account. But for the Switch, the system the team built, it's connected to the local save file. It's not connected to the online account directly. And so it didn't make sense to have an achievement for skipping the intro for every save file, because we wanted people to see the intro video, and forcing the player to restart the whole game if they got to the final boss level and didn't beat it on the first try was really cruel. It's not like we had put in a cheat code that would have you unlock the entire game because you had happened to have unlocked most of the game prior to this or something like that. But now that I think about it, I'd be able to do that. But Okay, so just fun story about achievement changes that we had to make after we launched on Steam, but then we're starting to launch on the Switch and Xbox. Okay, so leaderboards. So for us, because Chip is a platformer, leaderboards totally made sense. And let's see. And they added a level of connectivity for the players in a single player game without us making doing something more complicated like multiplayer and whatnot. So most platforms will have an online leaderboard service you can utilize at no cost, and on that platform only. Same idea as achievements. You just configure your leaderboards through an online portal. This is from the team. They said the leaderboards were much harder than the achievements. So I guess it gets complicated really quickly, And even though it's like very rewarding for the players, but I think one of the key aspects of this is that they should be fairly designed. So there were some nuances about the timing of like tracking the leaderboard. One thing to note is make sure you test the leaderboards with no entries and with tons of entries. I mean, make sure you test in general. QA is wonderful. UI design. UI design is like a huge aspect of the leaderboards. So we actually referenced, for those of you that like do endurance cycling and running and all that, we referenced Strava's leaderboards when we built them into Chip. So it always shows the top 10. And then if you're not in the top 10, it always shows where you are, plus the person ahead, and then the person behind you, which is like a really nice way to like motivate the user to like go a little bit faster next time. Or like if you see a friend on there, like try to be your friend. Okay, so the next one is save files. And so this is a really big one for just like launching on other platforms. Oops. Okay, and this was like when we got Chip running on the Switch, because that was the first platform that was not Steam we launched on. I think the first thing that was broken was the save files, but each platform is going to handle things differently, and like you might need to provide some sample save files. And like I said, this is a huge part of the game. Definitely invest time and stability around this. I was just playing a game where I was like 3 hours into the game, and my character had clipped through a counter, and I just like I couldn't walk back out of the counter, and basically I was just like walking in there, and there was no additional quick saves as well with this game, and so I was just stuck. And to be honest, I haven't like been able to pick it up since, because because like I have to start over again. There's no way out of this. I haven't been able to figure a way to get out of it at all. So getting the save files working well is like super important. Let's see. This one, I'm gonna be honest, I'm like not as familiar with this, but I do know the team did a really good job, and there's like a ton of notes in this presentation that like when it gets sent out, you should look at the save files presentation notes. There's different there's like recommendations to like between using player prefs and the binary serializer that you should check out. Okay, translations. A little more familiarity with this one. This is really fun. I love doing the translations. I love working with our translators, and they're always like super stoked to work on the translations. And they always like add like a really nice flavor to the translations, and like they'll walk us through it, and like we have tons of puns, and so they'll like add their own puns that are like a lot more culturally relevant. So okay, so with each platform you'll need to support like each platform built-in language settings while playing the game. To be honest, we've only done Japanese and Korean. Like, there's a lot of discussion about like which languages to choose. So the shortcuts. So one of the shortcuts we've taken is we didn't translate all the languages for Get a Grip Chip and Get a Grip Chip and the Body Bugs. We started with 2. I think we'll add more as for the next game. And then each storefront has different requirements around translations for launching your game in multiple regions. So actually, one significant one is like Canada requires French as well. And let's see. I think, yeah, that's the big one. Let's see. So you can see in this screenshot here, we'll just store the text in a spreadsheet. It's so much easier. And then just separate it from the game files. We just have a Google Sheet, and so you can see here there's some HTML here as well. So we'll like for get a good chip, this is how we did it. I don't, and that's because there's like just like clips of text. I think it's probably different for a more extensive game with like quite a bit of extensive narrative. So follow up in like a year or two when we've done that. But this was like a great foundation to just start with translations. It was just having like smaller bits of text. Let's see. So yeah, so we're just using a Google Sheet, and then we're using the Unity's localization package, which is really awesome. You just hook up the spreadsheet to the component in Unity, and then just once you've like finished editing, just like pull it into the game. And you also have to hook it up, but like the process of like editing the text and then pulling it to the game is like super smooth. I think we actually launched Body Bugs with the beta version of Unity's localization package, and it still worked great. And I think it's actually out of beta right now, so definitely recommend that one. Let's see. Oh, and I guess like some behind the things for translation. We've hired so for the in-game and the marketing, we get both translated, and we've done our press kit in Japanese. I'm not sure if we'll do our press kit in multiple languages. I would like to, just because if we're releasing in multiple countries, like I want to at least provide that for like let's say somebody in Germany or France, just to make people's lives easier as well. Let's see. So the storefronts, like a bunch of the storefronts actually like require translations for the marketing text, and because we'd only done Japanese and Korean at the time, we were working on a bit more of a budget. So honestly, I just went on Fiverr and just got some of the marketing language translated there, and then just cut it as needed for the storefronts. I think you can also just go with a translation service company who will be able to do like multiple languages in one go. I will say don't use Google Translate. It does not work right. So the reason why like we started just hiring out translators for everything was like we noticed that we were trying to cut corners a little too much, and we were trying to translate leaderboards into German. This was the whole word leaderboards, and Google Translate gave us Führer, and we were just like, no, this can't be. So after that, we started like hiring out the translation, and like your players will really appreciate it as well. Even like with all of it, so definitely go have somebody translate it. They'll be able to put a lot of that, like a lot of context into the translations. Okay, so alrighty, I got like 10 minutes. So all right, so platform features. Basically, this is basically like just the platform specific features, which is like sometimes the online stuff. So just make sure your game is connected to the user logged into the system. Controller and Rumble, just account for that. We did a little bit of Rumble design and like working with the HD Rumble for the Switch, because like the automatic ones were just like way too much and kind of weird. But I mean, we didn't like go nuts over it, but we at least just took a pass on it. There's also system suspend and wake events. Okay, so certification. So once you've gotten the game working. You're going to go through a certification process to ensure like your game meets a list of requirements, and the platforms will provide that for you. So these just like it'll be on the platform website. But just like some context of what it is and how it affects your timing is that it ranges from like, does the game run without crashing, to are the correct icons displayed for controller buttons. It takes like upwards of a month to complete certification for a platform if your game is in good shape. And like, so keep in mind, like this was our timeline, and Get a Grip Chip had one mechanic. It was just the grappling mechanic. So I think typically it's quite a bit longer. So yeah. Huh. Okay, so we're gonna talk about video real quick. And so this is like more about like the shortcuts we've taken with the video to like just get them out quickly. So like trailers, GIFs, and gameplay video for live streaming. I know there's like tons of information, especially about trailers. So this is like what we do. Okay. I will say that the video has become like very heavily software dependent for us. And like, obviously it's like, it is time consuming to build. And we have done it. I think the primary reason we just do it in-house is because one of our team members has a background in some like video editing. So they're able to do it relatively quickly. So we use OBS like all the time to record like the gameplay we need. And then we cut with Adobe Premiere. We actually use Photoshop to create GIFs. And then we use Restream for live streaming. And then actually like a little shortcut we have is we'll use on Windows, we'll use like the built-in Photos app and QuickTime on Mac, just to like quick trim video to just like show off gameplay. And let's see. All right, so the trailers on platform launching. So, okay, so one of the big ones is, so you can see like Premiere for a little bit. And so if you see like the ESRB like note there, basically one of the big things is like you got to add the platform mnemonics, which is like the little video clip of that platform, like the Switch, and the age rating. And so actually what happens is like, so between the mnemonics and the different age ratings for different regions, you're going to be like exporting like half a dozen videos as well. Okay, because I'm running out of time here. So outside of Steam, for digital only games, IARC grants you like the age rating certificate for like all the major agencies. So like ESRB, PEGI, USK. I think it covers Japan and Korea now. It's different for physical copies if you're gonna do that. Steam doesn't require it, so the trailer's a little bit easier for Steam. Let's see. Okay, GIFs. Let's see. These are like, they're really fun. They're really cool. And for us, they're a total pain to make because basically we record a video on OBS and then we save the clip and then we bring it into Photoshop and then export it as like a high quality GIF. So if there's better options out there that you know, like, let me know. Totally down. They're very fun though. Okay, gameplay video. So gameplay video, I think we primarily just use this on like Steam, really. And so you'll see like Steam will just say like, oh, you can like live stream a little bit. So actually what we do, and maybe Steam has caught on to this, but a lot of people will use OBS to just like record 20 to 30 minutes and just run a loop on OBS that's streaming to Steam. And actually, so for us, like that 20 to 30 minute video, sometimes it's like continuous, but sometimes we'll just edit it since you can do this. It's helpful to have like other images and video for the live streaming, like here. But actually, fun fact, this image is just two separate images like cut together. to make it look like a gameplay screenshot. Yeah, but like, so it's generally better to have a person in there because at least you can like see their reaction. It's pretty fun. Let's see. Okay. Timeline. This is the timeline we used. Like pretty much probably absolute minimum. It's probably longer than this. Also, like for our next project, the gameplay is like a lot more in depth. So I think our timeline is going to be a bit longer. Like we have some experience just from doing the first game, which was actually the intention of Get a Grip Chip was one mechanic, so we can just get all of this under our belts, and then for subsequent projects we were going to build from there. And launch day, yeah. So oh shoot, sorry, this is the timeline. I'm actually like trying to change, like look at the notes on a slide in one screen, and then I forgot to change this. Alrighty, so that's the timeline. Again, I'll just send the link to this presentation so you can look through it. So launch day. Oh, this is also a GIF, but this is actually a GIF of a just an animation from Spine, which is super cool. So it doesn't always have to be gameplay for your GIF. So launch day, like, yay, celebrate. That's huge. Like getting to launch day, like as you just saw over the last like 50 minutes, that was like an overview list of like the work that goes in. And I didn't even talk about marketing. So yeah, celebrate, fix some bugs, and then continue to celebrate. I think we've always had like 1 to 2 bugs at launch. Like one of them, like when we launched Body Bugs, we forgot to press the launch button for Google, so it actually came out a day late. And then for Get a Grip Chip, there was actually like a design issue. One of the like ending gameplay sequences like required a super advanced move that we never taught prior to that point. So like the first person we watched play this game couldn't figure out this move without cheesing it through. So like we made a very quick fix to basically just we just adjusted the level a little bit. All right, thanks everybody. We have some time for questions, but here's the info. You can get this presentation. There's tons of notes in here, and hopefully this is like a resource and that will help you get to launch day.
Yeah, we are definitely going to share this presentation with everybody as well. So thank you so much.
Cool.
Okay. So we got some questions right here, and I have some questions.
Yeah.
From Sam Gomez. You mentioned art tech translation video. What are the administrative, the boring part, hurdles you go through on simultaneous launches? Let's just ask the easy questions right up front.
All right. So I will say like adding like uploading all the marketing art. You seriously like once you're done cutting it, which is fun, but like you're also just like essentially like when you're cutting the marketing art, it's also pretty boring because you're basically in Photoshop just adjusting the canvas size and then exporting it and then uploading it to a different space, and then you repeat this about 50 times.
Mm-hmm. The copying and pasting.
Yeah, there's a lot of copying and pasting. It's pretty manual back there on all those like on all the platform ends. So yeah.
So what is the biggest, besides of that, what is the most annoying biggest hurdle on releasing on multiple platforms? Programming wise,
I think I'd say like certification. Like we've gotten like dinged for like really, really small things. They're still really important because like the platform requires them. And like, you know, like you put a word in the wrong order, or let's see. Oh, what was it? Okay, so the name of the controller for Switch, we put the wrong terminology down, and that's how we failed. We failed lot check. Yeah, it was the only one, and like Get a Grip Chip, very small game, but we still failed lot check the first time because like I think it was. I think we actually missed the trademark logo for the Nintendo Switch, and I think we put it in the wrong spot. I think we put the trademark, the TM, next to Nintendo instead of Switch. Tiniest thing, yeah.
Right, but they pay attention to that, and I'm sure like just the plethora of different image sizes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
And you
that's
have
gotta
to
be
get them
pain.
just right too.
Yeah,
It's like pretty specific.
right. But they give you templates, don't they? Some of them.
Some of them do, but I don't think all of them.
Not everything is 1920 by 1080.
Yeah. Yeah, and you still have to find the templates, and like you're still cutting it.
Right.
And so for us, so like we were actually like adjusting all the assets within the marketing art itself.
Yeah, I saw that because it's like it looks like you basically had all the different assets and then you just kind of combined them a certain way, and then for a different size one you just kind of shifted the assets around on different layers, and that sounds fun.
Yeah.
So is there something that you did that you would not do again?
Let's see. Well, actually, so the way we did the achievement art, when we can I go back? Let's see. Yeah, I can go back. Oh yeah, the achievement icons, like it's like really subtle, but we'd start with 1920 by 1080 for sure for the achievement art, because like it did take some time to go back through and like basically read it. We were still redoing all the achievement art because we had to like widen.
And it's achievement for all the platforms.
Yeah.
How many platforms did you release on at once?
So for Body Bugs, I think we did 6. We did Steam, Xbox, Switch, iOS, Google, and then we did WebGL as like a free version. So we did 5 that required like marketing assets as well. And then we changed so this is from Get a Grip Chip, but then we created new achievement art for the rest of it. But I think for developers there was like a quick thing about okay, so you definitely should send this presentation out because I'm not as familiar with the tech side, and there's like a lot of really good notes written into this, but the save files slide has something about like basically what are called binary serializers and player prefs that relate to the save data, and just like I guess the binary serializer for Xbox, Microsoft doesn't recommend using it, and I think like player prefs is like the standard when you Google save files, and then so we got to Xbox like later, and then I think the team had used player prefs, and then that we had to like rewrite the save file system.
So one more question. Which platform did you do was the best performing for you as far as sales?
Let's see. Switch.
For
sure. Yeah.
That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah. Switch. But Xbox is close behind. And I think like also like we made a platformer, so there there are some more favorable platforms. I think it depends on the type of
platforms for platformers.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know what? It's just crazy. Like I know that the Switch is so popular, but for me, I bought another controller, right? Because the controls are just like my hands are big, so like I hold the thing, it's like this big, right?
Yeah.
It's
hard. And I think that's like we started moving into Xbox, and then we have PlayStation. We just haven't launched on PlayStation yet, just because like it's a different market. Not everybody has every single console, so we want to just like bring it out as much.
If you're a true gamer, you do. I know in this house we have 1, 2, 3 different PlayStations. Of course, they're generation ones.
Yeah, generational ones.
1, 2, 3 Xboxes, a Switch, and then of course PC. So it's funny because we'll play like Fortnite together as a squad, and there'll be PC, Xbox, and then 2 PlayStations.
Yeah, that's really cool. That was actually like games like I mean, it's like crazy to see the line between like Fortnite and like a one mechanic platformer, but that was like a little bit of an inspiration because we were like, okay, they make Fortnite work, we can make Get a Grip Chip work on mobile. Like we will figure this out.
For sure, for sure.
And
Thank
like,
you so much, Vicky. We really appreciate your time. We got to get out of here because we got somebody coming up next. Actually, you know what? I should have this. We should have all of this information already. We have calling all leaders. Even if you don't think you are one, you need to be one. This is going to be so important. Thank you so much. Once again, thank you so much, Tripwire Presents, for sponsoring us. And we're going to get, I've got Vicky's presentation in the Google folder that we're going to send out to everybody. So thank you all so much.